The golden light that touched the sea was never as warm as the sunsets you brought. Each evening when the sky kissed the horizon, I thought of your voice, the way it brushed my thoughts like silk across bare shoulders. I remember how, even without speaking, you made the silence swell with meaning. You painted twilight across my ribs and left the stars lingering in my breath. I was young, yes, and yet I understood the gravity of tenderness in your gaze. When the world stood tall and watched me with crowned expectations, it was your quiet presence that bent the moment into softness. They told me royalty is discipline, but you taught me royalty is listening. My title weighs less when I recall how you once held my fingers like they were stardust about to drift away. In that instant pain didn't matter, nor did duty, only you. Only the echo of a dream I still dare to dream, just as the sky dares to burn each dusk without fear. I've walked through palaces where chandeliers tremble with the breath of history, but none sparkle like the tears I never let fall for you. Each ballroom echoes with ghosts of expectation, each corridor lines itself with portraits that never smile. Yet, in your presence, my laughter was no longer rehearsed. It was born anew, like the first time I saw the sea not as a boundary but as a cradle. You made royalty feel human. You made me feel like more than heir and heritage, like a girl who could fall in love without scandal, without fear. They see the crown, the sash, the schooling, but you saw the sigh beneath my posture, the flutter behind my eyes. With you I could shed titles the way the sun sheds its light on the fields of Castilla. I wish I had said it then, that your name was the only one I ever wanted, whispered behind palace doors, not in scandal but in reverence. When I read poetry now I look for you between the lines. You're in the shadows of sonnets and the spaces where breath should be taken. I once found your smile hidden in a verse of Neruda, a place where longing meets dignity. You were never a prince, but you were the poem no prince could write. That's the cruel joke of fate, isn't it? We belong to a world where feeling must wear gloves, where love must curtsy. Still, I would have danced with you barefoot on a balcony at midnight if I could. I would have traded all the royal protocol for a single evening where I could just be Leonor, the girl, not the crown. You said once that my voice reminded you of twilight over a lake still and sacred. I never told you that your words reminded me of wind through olive groves, calm and ancient, yet free. My silence was my shield, but also my regret. The sunsets you brought, how they linger. Even now when I stand beside diplomats and dignitaries, I scan the horizon for hints of the warmth you used to carry. No one told me how much a crown can cost, not in gold but in the gentle forfeiting of dreams. Each time I wave to crowds I wonder if you're somewhere hidden in them, watching. Would you recognize the girl who now speaks in speeches instead of sighs? I try to carry myself like the future, but some nights I am simply the past, still wanting to turn toward you. That isn't weakness, that's the strength it takes to remember. The sunsets you brought were not loud, they were velvet and kind. They taught me that sometimes the greatest love is the one you never own, the one that teaches you how to hold yourself when no one else will. And I do, because of you. Sometimes I whisper your name beneath the rustle of my gowns, as though the fabric will remember you. No one else must hear it. In my world names become headlines and hearts become burdens. But you were never a burden. You were a promise, one the world was never brave enough to keep. I touch letters you once gave me, now worn at the edges like ancient scrolls, as sacred as scripture to my heart. There is no scandal in memory, only sanctuary. And when the world is too loud I close my eyes and remember the way you said my name, not with awe, not with fear but with belonging. That sound lives in me. When the orchestra plays, when the red carpets roll, I don't walk alone. I walk with the sound of your breath, your laughter, your goodbye. Even the word farewells was too cruel for us. We never said it, we just drifted apart like clouds in opposite winds. You taught me that silence isn't absence. It is the presence of all that words can't hold. And though the distance stretched between us like a forbidden bridge, I never stopped carrying pieces of you. Every book I read, every letter I write beneath the guise of diplomacy, bears the shadow of your thoughtfulness. I learned to speak many languages, but none as fluently as the one you spoke with your eyes. That language lives in me still. I wonder, do you still write? Do you still remember? Do your days end with the same orange flame that once melted across our secret sky? I will never know, and perhaps that is what makes the memory sacred. You were a chapter written not in ink but in the blush of evening. I am not bitter. I am blessed. Not everyone has a love so quiet it echoes through years. Not everyone has sunsets given like secrets. Spain watches me now with a hope I try to earn every day. I give speeches. I learn policies, I stand where queens have stood, but still I remember that girl who once whispered poems to the moon about you. I think she would be proud of me even as she misses you. I have not forgotten her nor you. I wear her softness beneath the armor of protocol. I keep you both alive in ways no historian will write about, in ways no news can capture, and in that private invisible place you are still mine. Time may take everything, beauty, chance, even names, but it cannot touch the part of me that grew in your sunlight. It cannot erase the way you made the future feel like a canvas rather than a cage. When I speak of hope in speeches, when I smile for cameras, it is not a performance, it is a promise I made to the girl you loved. I remember your hands not in their touch but in their gentleness. You once held a bird with trembling fingers, afraid it might fly too soon. That was how you held my thoughts too, carefully, patiently. I wonder if you ever knew the power you had over my heart, if you guessed how I dreamed of futures I was never allowed to choose. I once drew a map in my journal of all the places I wanted to escape with you, places without titles, without obligation, but you always said freedom isn't in fleeing, it's in choosing who you become, even when choice feels stolen. And so I stayed. I became the woman you believed I could be, and sometimes that hurts more than leaving ever would, because I stayed without you, because I still look for you in every quiet room. I have grown, yes, my voice is firmer now, my steps more deliberate. I've learned the cadence of diplomacy, the grammar of power. But when I am alone I write letters I'll never send. They start with your name and end with 1,000 unsaid things. They are filled with the kind of love that doesn't age. If ever you were to read them, I wonder if you'd still recognize the girl who once recited poetry under starlit balconies. I wonder if you'd still hold my name like something holy. I pray you do. I pray you are well even if I never know. And if the winds should ever carry my voice to you, let it say this: you were the first and the forever, not by time but by truth, not by fate but by feeling, the kind that no crown can command, no title can extinguish. I see your smile in the faces of strangers sometimes, and it nearly undoes me. How cruelly the heart remembers what time wants to forget. Still I thank the universe that we met, that in a life dictated by protocol I was granted a glimpse of something utterly human. You gave me sunsets, yes, but you also gave me dawns, those quiet mornings after dreams of you, when the world was still tender and new. I have stood on balconies alone looking east, pretending you are looking west, and in those imagined crossings of our gazes I find peace, the kind that doesn't need proof, the kind that simply is, like the sea, like the sky, like the love we never spoke aloud. You live in the stillness between heartbeats, in the hush between ceremonies, in the space where royalty cannot reach. You remain untouched.